Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to go over our uranium daily technical analysis update. I'm going to give you my opinion, and we'll go through the charts, and I'll let you know what the charts are saying. I'll be your scribe here. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. So let's dive in here. I've got the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We've been squeezing up. We were playing with the lower line. We broke to the upside, and we just had a regular down day. It's a hammer candlestick today, where I think we could still make upward movement. So the pattern looks good. Everything looks okay. Nothing to worry about here. Uranium, another hammer candlestick pattern. And what a hammer candlestick pattern is it opens, it trades down throughout the day. Buyers come in and buy it back up. So it opened here at the top. It came all the way down, and then buyers bought it back up, and it closed here because it was a down day. But it means that the momentum's to the upside, and we could see a reversal potential to go up. It doesn't mean that it is a given. It's a probability, and we could still chop sideways. But what we're doing is we're putting in this bottom, so it's looking good. Bannerman's chopping sideways. That's what we want to see on a pullback sideways, and then move higher. Goviak's getting a little bit of sell-off, a little bit of a hammer pattern there. One thing that I can tell just by staring at the chart is we're kind of right there at the bottom of this support line here. The one thing is whenever we go up and squeeze, we could pop out the downside somewhere down here before moving higher in this overall larger pattern up here. So we could still see a little bit more downside before heading higher with Goviak's. Nothing big. And again, guys, that may not happen. We may launch to the upside. But when you squeeze up, whenever you squeeze upward and it's tilted to the up, let me go back here. Whenever you're tilted higher like this, when it's tilting up, sometimes they like to break to the downside for a little bit. That's a ascending wedge pattern versus a descending. This is descending in nature. This is ascending. The ascending wedges, they like to pop out, and this is a very small pattern. So if it goes down, it's not going to go much of anywhere. You can kind of see this in some of these other patterns. Like you can see that there's a ascending type wedge pattern here that kind of squeezed up, and we're breaking to the downside here. It's a smaller pattern, so this is a pattern within a larger pattern where we're probably just going to bounce to the downside, come back to support, and then eventually go more towards the edge. Oh man, get the cross here, move over. If you can kind of extend this out and extend this out, what we're probably going to do, obviously I'm speculating here, is we're probably going to come down and then bounce a little bit more before we break to the upside of this pattern here. Forces metals, may the forces be with all of us. I've got this big old pattern that I've drawn in. It's been staying within this pattern for quite a long time now. We were down a little bit today, not much to really worry about here. But we're right inside the pattern on top of other patterns. So it's a big consolidation phase. Pure Point, same thing. We're just consolidating in this big channel. Nothing too much to worry about there. This is deep yellow, a little bit of a down day today. Again, we're within this upward channel. I really wouldn't be worrying about it. It was just a regular down day today. Paladin Energy getting a little bit, a little down day here. Yeah, maybe it comes back a little bit. These are bullish, bearish engulfings. Bearish engulfings means that it's a topping pattern that could pull back on a very short-term basis. Doesn't mean anything major. And then if we can draw almost kind of like a line here, you can see that we've got resistance coming up. And this is very similar to all the other ones. It's just kind of coiling up at the top of this. Watch for these lows to kind of step up and then eventually break. Sky Harbor looking quite strong, actually. I would be a buyer of Sky Harbor all in here and even here because it looks like it's ready to go up. This is a bullish engulfing to move higher. And it's sitting on top of a massive, massive pattern of many, many years. Looks like almost a decade-long pattern that we're breaking to the upside. So that looks absolutely fantastic. Sky Harbor is a good one. Next Gen Energy, it's chopping sideways. We're still above its pattern. Everything's looking good. Can Alaska, Again, we're chopping sideways here with Canalaska. Base load, we are putting in the cup and handle pattern. We're putting in the handle right now to come on up. Fission 3.0 looks good. We've just been bopping sideways for the most part at a very high level, close to 52-week highs. Actually, yeah, it's not all-time highs, but 52-week highs. Fission, OG, just a regular down day today, nothing to worry about. Looking at the pattern. CCJ, another down day today, nothing to worry about. No reversal pattern or anything in it. Camco holding the line, so that's good. It's not blown to the downside. Peninsula Energy trying to break through its upper channel here. I should say downward resistance line in this pattern. It's trying to break to the upside, up 3.13%. Boss Energy moving sideways in the channel. No change there. Lotus Resources looking very strong. This is a spot that I would be a buyer in right now. What usually happens is you get this flagpole. It consolidates. It breaks to the upside. It goes to the top side like this with a nice, good buying pressure wick at the bottom. It tapped it, and then usually they like to run. So that looks good to me. Uroy's looking strong. We got lots of buying pressure at the bottom here with these wicks. We're right at the resistance line, support line, I should say. Yeah, go ahead and fire some off if you guys like Uroy. Encore Energy, we're just bouncing sideways on this support line. Just a regular down day, nothing to worry about. UU again, a little bit of a down day today. Looking at it, I mean, wait, worse comes to worse. We get like a shoulder develop, and it comes back to this line here, to that support line. That's a worst case scenario if it were to do that. Oops. URG, yeah, I mean, we're just bopping sideways. Yeah, it's a little bit larger down day today, but buyers and sellers are duking it out back and forth. UEC is looking good. Small down day in comparison to the day before it. The day before it's a bullish piercing pattern. Usually it's a downward to an upward move. Everything looks okay. Nothing bad. LEU popping sideways on its support line. Draw this thing out a little bit more. And we are squeezing up a little bit here as well. Let's get this, put the arrow back. LTBR, this one looks good. I would be a buyer here. And the reason is you see these large selling pressures, and then it kind of, the buyers equal the sellers, and then you'll see a pop. Usually the pop is in the direction that the big move is. So you get these big moves with big buying pressure, a small selling pressure. It kind of comes down. It's gonna kind of smooth itself out and then probably resume an upward trend. ISO Energy, a little down day today. Nothing to worry about. Looks good. Appia Energy, down a little bit today. It's coiling up, guys. We'll see where this thing breaks. I have a little black trend line in there. Weird. DNN, hammer pattern looks good. We're at support. Little good buying pressure at the bottom of the candlestick, so that looks good. Blue Sky Uranium, again, we're at the bottom of its support line. Hopefully it holds, but it looks okay. Forum Energy Metals, just a down day today. Nothing to worry about. A regular down day. No reversal pattern. Anfield's just chopping sideways. A little bit of selling pressure today. Laramide Resources putting in a candlestick at the bottom. It's a hammer pattern to potentially move higher. That's the way that I view it. Comes up, hits some selling pressure, and then reverses higher. Western Uranium, yeah, it's just popping sideways. Nothing too much to talk about there. Again, we're moving sideways in UEX Corp with a little wick at the bottom. And then Mega Uranium, bullish engulfing. It's right at the resistance line. I would say it looks good. Looks good to go higher. So that's the overall sector for uranium. It's looking, it actually looks pretty good. One thing I will say is the overall sector is putting in hammer patterns for the NASDAQ and tech companies. So I think with the strength there going up is going to relieve some pressure on the commodities. The reason I say that is whenever you get large selling pressure in other sectors, it's going to affect everything. It's like a deleveraging in the stock market event. So whenever we have those type of events, it's you get kind of selling pressure everywhere. Now, if we have NASDAQ come in, if we see some strength in the overall market, you might see money start to flow in its entirety. We also might see rates kind of top out and come back down a little bit in the very, very short term. The reason I'm saying that is I'm seeing wicks at the top, and I'm seeing contraction in the candlesticks of the opening and closing prices contracting down, which means the buyers are equaling the sellers, and that we're running out of buying pressure or selling pressure in bonds for rates to go up. So that's what I see. I'm holding on to this stuff, guys. Of all of them, I mean, I think LTBR is really low. It's kind of at that point where it broke out. It's doing a retest. I like those kind of retest areas. So that'd be one that I would look into in the short term here. And any other ones, they all look decent. I like Goviax where that's positioned as well. GVXXF. That's positioned kind of. We've got a long-term pattern that's coming around. It's a big cup and handle pattern, and we're right there. We broke out. We did a retest, and that could potentially run quite a bit if it gets some legs underneath it and can run out of its pattern. So that's one I think that could appreciate quite a bit as well. And I always like base load. So if you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.